As I'm presenting these teachings to you, I'm going back and seeing their context with respect to the story of Antoinette. And it occurs to me that at some point, I think I'm going to have to upload that story in its entirety, because even though I'm presenting these teachings and giving you ways to apply them, the richness of how they were delivered to me is just so much more profound when it is woven into the story. So I think what I'm going to do is on June 9th, at the end of this whole project, I'm going to upload Antoinette's story as my final gift to those of you who have stuck through it. Because if you're still watching the videos by June 9th, at the end of this 62-day process, you will have earned that story, and I think you'll probably find interest in it. It's probably the most beautiful tale that I've ever written, and the most profound, I love that word obviously, but the most meaningful piece of work. And it spanned over about a year and a half, so it wasn't like just one piece of work. It was dealing with the layers and layers and layers of it, but it taught me more about the healing of my soul and the healing of my children within, and accountability for myself in this plane than I think any other experience in my life. And so I believe it's something that I really want to share with you. Today we're going to talk about the 8th teaching, and this continues the concept of the projections. When you are willing to see the trail of your struggles and pain and see value in your judgments, we talked about that yesterday, your judgments, projections, and shames, you have reclaimed the trust in yourself to be your own mentor. You will call on others as support and for comfort, but your truth will come from within. Now, the way I, again, most dramatically experienced that in my life is in my intimate relationships. And in my relationship with my partner is probably where I got to play with that the most, because I would find times when I would come home or he would come home and I was a fight looking for a reason to happen. And what I was attempting to do in that moment was externalize that polarization that I was just stuck with. And I'd be just churning inside, and I needed an external context before I could move to the next stage of it, which was to own it. And there were some times in our relationship where we realized that we were better at that than others, where we were more conscious, aware, and responsible and accountable for that than others. But the moments that we could come back to each other and apologize for our reactions to each other and share with each other what we learned in that interaction, they were probably the most rewarding exchanges that we had, because that was truly when we were using the relationship as a vehicle for us on our own path back to God. And that's what I think intimate relationships are all about. So for today, we're going to do the EFT sequence that again reinforces your willingness to be your own mentor, to not give your power away, to hold yourself accountable, to come back into ownership of whatever reaction you have, and to follow the threads of that, to follow the trails of your own pain, your own reactions, because it's all about you. So I invite you to join me on this, or in this sequence. Even though there are times when I am a fight looking for a reason to happen, I now value the relationships that allow me to act out in this way, because they are the true relationships of my soul. And when I find that intimacy with someone else, where we have that understanding and permission to be real, it is predicated on the knowingness that we will hold ourselves accountable, that whatever we've projected onto each other we will come around and make good. And I now choose to use every reaction I have, and especially in those intimate relationships where the reactions can be really intense. I own those reactions. I hold myself accountable. I follow their threads so that I can heal and then come back into a place where I can make my amends. And I hold myself accountable to not act out in ways that are destructive or hurtful to others. It's my response to them that I can follow. I have the choice as to whether I act it out. And I make that choice responsibly now. My most intimate relationships offer the greatest arena of challenge. My reactions in those situations offer me such an opportunity to see where I need to mentor myself. I need to, again, find that voice whose love is stronger than my wounded one's fear. And I have the greatest opportunity for that in my reactions to those I love. If I do cross the line, I am willing to make my amends. But as I progress in my healing, I step into my mentor voice before I respond to the reactions I feel stirring within. There is that moment when my emotions erupt that I can still choose. I can walk away. I can take a time out. I can say, this is too provocative for me. I need space. I need to explore the intensity of my response right now. And I need to do that alone. I don't want to injure you. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to lash out. But these feelings have erupted. I want it to follow their threads so I can work it out. I want to find that wounded one who is in such distress. And once I follow those threads and heal myself, I will be able to return to us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So use that. Use that in terms of your relationships to others, because you want to make use of that opportunity, but you don't want to give yourself license to take it out on others. You have the tools to follow the path and the trails of your pain to your wounded ones so you can heal.